Yes. This is Errol Spence Jr. You're watching True School Sports. All right.
It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire, and you guys know the rest. Now listen, man, it's your boy BT. I'm here, and this is part of that long series I told you guys about, where I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna be posting receipts over the years. So I got videos from like 5 years ago, 3 years ago, last year, a couple months ago, of me saying that Terence Crawford was gonna beat Errol Spence, and me disproving a lot of narratives about the fight going into it. Now, as many of you guys know, by the way, I want to show you guys before I get into the main part of this video. I want to show you guys that the Terence Crawford-Errol Spence fight, it was such a special performance from Terence Crawford, and not only that, I don't know if y'all can see, but that's my exact prediction on Instagram before the fight, and y'all can follow me on Instagram at Just a Kid from Dania. It was so good I had to frame it. It was such a beautiful performance, I had to really frame it. So that ain't that some shit when your boxing predictions become boxing memorabilia. It goes from 0 to 100 real quick. Now let me sit back down on my thinking chair. Now listen, man. What you guys are about to see, this is an excerpt from the April 2020. So this video you're about to see, this clip you're about to see is 3 years old. This is an excerpt from 2020. When I went on to BFTB Boxing's channel, and we went back and forth about a couple of topics, such as Fury Wilder. He was dead wrong about that. Mike Tyson not being a great boxer, which he said that at one point. And then also, what you guys came here for, we went back and forth about Crawford and Spence. And the point that he was trying to make in the video was that Terence Crawford hadn't fought anybody, and his resume wasn't strong enough, and because he hasn't fought anybody, he used that to disprove Terence Crawford, right? He used the straw man argument that many Spence fans use over the years, but anybody with 2, or in my case 4 eyes to see, we could clearly see that the PBC wasn't anxious to make the Terence Crawford fight, and we always knew that Terence Crawford's resume was better than it got credit for. He just didn't fight big name fighters that that Spence fought, because most of those guys were PBC. Now, we got back and forth about, Kavaluskas, Mean Machine, or as he says, Green Beans. He calls them Green Beans. But Kavaluskas and Carlos Ocampo, because he said Carlos Ocampo was the same thing as Kavaluskas. So, I'm going to play a clip for you guys. He was like very angry, and I was just as cool as an ice cube, and I just, I did my thing. I asked some questions, went back and forth a little bit. And he was really angry. But listen, there's no hate here. I don't got no hatred for no BFTB or anybody in the world, or the LDBC. God bless them, the whole LDBC. I'm just putting this out there to let you guys know that he was wrong and I was right. And that's just what it's going to be. But here's the clip, and I'll see you guys after the clip is done for further reaction. What do you rank him all time in the NBA, like NBA history?
When do I rank him all time in NBA history? Why the fuck are you asking me about LeBron? I'm a boxing channel.
You're a LeBron fan. I wanted to know.
Well, I don't fucking feel like talking about that. I'm talking about boxing.
All right, Terence Crawford-Errol Spence. Why do you say that Terence Crawford is getting a pass?
Why do I say Terence Crawford is getting a pass? Who's he fighting? Who's he fighting?
He fought Kavaluskas his last fight. He fought
who?
Kavaluskas.
Green Beans. He fought Green Beans. Okay.
When he came to welterweight,
would Danny Garcia get credit for beating Green Beans?
Would Danny Garcia get credit for it? I think he was. He's a good fighter.
Like who would give him credit? They call him Terence.
I give him credit. I think it's a good win.
Get the fuck out of here, you weird bitch ass niggas. You soft ass niggas. Oh, y'all motherfuckers. Oh, now all of a sudden Danny gets credit for it. Would Errol get credit for beating Green Beans?
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Would Errol Spence get credit for beating Green Beans?
BFTB, let me ask you a question.
Would Errol Spence get credit?
When Terence Crawford entered the welterweight division,
would Errol Spence
get credit? It was Spence that said,
Green
get
Beans.
the belt, make it happen.
All right, let me do this like this. Let's do it like this. Shut the fuck up, you weird bitch ass nigga. Shut Smooth the fuck up. Now you said something to me. All right, now I'm asking you. Would Errol Spence get credit for beating Green Beans?
He would if he stopped him in one dominant fashion. Yes, if he stopped him earlier, he would get more credit.
Okay, so if he would get more credit by stopping Green Beans, then why didn't he get the same credit by stopping undefeated Ocampo?
Ocampo? Who the fuck is Ocampo?
Who the fuck is Green Beans? Who the fuck is Green Beans? Who's Green Beans?
He was a solid amateur.
Who is Green Beans?
He was a good amateur.
Do your
Who
history.
the fuck is an amateur? There's plenty of amateurs. So
Who was Ocampo in the amateurs? Who was he in the
was
amateurs?
undefeated. Ocampo is an
Name 5 of his opponents. Who's
IBF mandatory. That's
Ocampo
what he was.
opponents? Name one guy you
What
fucked
the
we know
fuck
of before.
was Ocampo? Was Green Beans? What was Green Beans?
Green Beans had good fights though. Green Beans fought freaking Ray Robinson. He fought Ray Robinson his last fight
He fought Ray Robinson his last fight and he lost and got a draw.
Well, you got to draw. That's not losing.
Lost and got a draw. He fought Ray Robinson, lost and got a draw. And somehow he became
the same Ray Robinson that exposed.
He somehow became the mandatory.
Okay.
Green Beans.
Well, I have another question.
Shut the fuck up.
I have another question.
Ass nigga, shut the fuck up. Green Beans is the exact same thing as Ocampo. A nothing mandatory. That's what he is. Green Beans was a nothing mandatory. Ocampo, a nothing mandatory. Neither of them were shit. But this whole ass nigga just said, oh, well, if Errol stopped Green Beans in dominant fashion, then yeah, he get credit. Fuck out of here, nigga, because you won't give him credit for Ocampo. And he stopped him in dominant fashion. And they are the exact same thing. Neither of them are shit. But because you dick ride Bud Crawford, you don't even dick ride Bud. You're just an Errol hater. You are just a motherfucking Errol Spence hater. You don't even ride with Bud. You're just a fucking Errol hater because he went to the UK and beat the dumb shit out of Kell Brook. Period. But go ahead. I'm listening to your next shit. I'm listening. What's your next shit?
First of all, I'm not an Errol hater.
You are an Errol hater. You are a dumb bitch ass Errol hater.
How do you know that? BFTB, how do you know that? You don't even know. You don't even know me.
Fuck you. That's how I know.
You don't even know.
All right, so there's the clip. You guys saw it. BFTB Boxing back in 2020 didn't want to give Terence Crawford any credit, and he's an Earl Spence guy. I can't knock him for that. Earl Spence is a great fighter, and I'm not going to put Earl Spence down after losing to a great fighter like Terence Crawford. Earl Spence did what he eventually said he would do, and he got in the ring with them, and he tried his best, and it wasn't enough. But you know what? To me, he's still a fantastic champion. You can't take away what he's done. A 3-belt unified champion. He represented our great country, the USA, in the Olympics. So, much love to the Warrior from Dallas, Texas. But just to kind of, now 3 years later, now after the Crawford fight, kind of give my take on the whole resume argument. First and foremost, resumes only mean but so much in boxing because, as the saying goes, styles make fights. We've seen a lot of guys not have the best resumes, but because they had the right style, they beat a guy who had a way better resume than them, With that being said, as far as the whole Kavaluskas Ocampo thing, BFTB was very adamant about them being the same thing, and they're not the same thing. Kavaluskas is not the same thing as Ocampo. Let's have it right. Kavaluskas, and I got it in front of me right here. Kavaluskas was not a one-time Olympian, but a two-time Olympian. He was a Lithuanian Olympian in 2008. Lithuanian Olympian 2012. Now, he didn't medal in the Olympics, but neither did Earl Spence. So, that shouldn't be an issue for BFTB to accept. But he was a two-time Olympian, and I don't care what country it is. If you represent your country in the Olympics multiple times, it means you got to be, at a certain level of being a boxer. So those are his amateur credentials, right? Then you look at what he's done in the professional ranks. Green Beans. I'll call him Green Beans for the sake of, BFTB. Look at what Green Beans has done. Okay, before Green Beans fought Ray Robinson, and by the way, that was a close fight with Ray Robinson. It couldn't win either way. Ray Robinson's a very tough, tall southpaw who even exposed Josh Kelly, and I thought he actually beat Josh Kelly. And Josh Kelly at that time was a highly touted prospect in the sport. But he fought Kavaluskas to a draw. Kavaluskas, about 3 fights before that, stopped David Avanesyan, and that was that was in 2018. He stopped David Avanesyan, and you look at what David Avanesyan went on to do. He was the first guy to beat Josh Kelly. He was the a guy that was the European champion, defended his belt a bunch of times. Not a top 5 welterweight or nothing like that, but a guy that was probably teetering and hanging around that bottom part of the top 15 welterweight rankings. And by the way, David Avanesyan gave a way better account of himself than Earl Spence did against Terence Crawford. And not even just David Avanesyan. David Avanesyan did better against Crawford than Spence. Every Crawford opponent that's ever been discredited over the years by the Spence, fanboys and the Crawford haters, every Crawford opponent did better than Spence against Crawford. Ricky Burns, Julius Ndongo, Felix Diaz, Sanabria, John Molina Jr., and my personal favorite, Victor the Iceman Postal. All of them. Jeff Horn, Jose Benavidez Jr. All of them did much better than Spence did against Crawford. This was Crawford's most dominant performance of his career, and it was against the guy that people said that would beat him and do all these things to him. So anyway, back to the matter at hand. Kavaliauskas is a better fighter. I'm not saying he's a great fighter or nothing like that, but Kavaliauskas is definitely at one point in time a top 10 or 15 welterweight, no doubt about it. Especially when Crawford fought him, he was a top 10 welterweight. So with that being said, just the David Avanesyan fight alone and knocking him out, that's better than anything on Carlos Ocampo's resume. He also gave Vergil Ortiz the toughest fight of his career. A lot of people thought he dropped Vergil Ortiz. The referee didn't call it. A lot of people thought he dropped Bud and they didn't call it. So Kavaliauskas, not elite welterweight, but high level, fringe contender, gatekeeper type of opponent. That's what he is in boxing. Now, when we look at Carlos Ocampo, right? Because BFTB made it to the point to say that Carlos Ocampo was the same thing as Kavaliauskas. They're not the same thing because, first of all, Ocampo doesn't really have a great amateur background. That's number one. Number two, if you look at Carlos Ocampo's entire career before the Spence fight, he literally fought his entire career domestically against Mexican club level fighters, these cab drivers, these no names we never heard of in Tijuana. Okay, that's what built his record up. Then he fought Spence. Spence iced him in 2 rounds, destroyed him in 2 rounds. After Spence destroyed him in 2 rounds, he then went on to fight more nondescript opposition and got, 8 or 9 runs. He got about 9 wins in a row, with the best one being Mikhail Zuski, who was a guy that Kavaliauskas stopped. Okay, that was his best win. From the time Errol Spence beat him to the time he fought Tim Tszyu, his best win was a guy that Kavaliauskas or Green Beans already knocked out. Then he fought Tim Tszyu. Oh, no, my bad. Then he fought Fundura, gave Fundura a decent account of himself, but lost Fundura. Then got one little win in Mexico. Then he fought Tim Tszyu, and Tim Tszyu stopped Ocampo even quicker than Spence did. He got him out in 1 round. Spence only got him out, and I think it was 2 rounds. So the greater point I'm trying to make here that I was trying to make in that video, and that, shouting match with BFTB is what I was trying to say is Kavaliauskas is a better opponent than Ocampo. He's a better fighter than Ocampo. It was proven before. It was proven before Kavaliauskas fought Crawford, and it's been proven after Kavaliauskas has fought Crawford, and it's been proven in the years since this back and forth between BFTB Boxing. So Crawford's resume was underrated. His style was too much for Errol Spence, and this fight was not Leonard versus Hearns. It was not Hagler versus Hearns. This fight was Mayweather Gotti 2.0. And I'm going to leave it right there and speak my piece and say what I got to say. But I'll say this because I'm no hater. I'm just highlighting something BFTB said 3 years ago. Make sure y'all go subscribe to BFTB Boxing. He's doing his thing. He's very passionate about boxing and the guys that he supports. Errol Spence, those Texas boys. I know he's a really big fan of those guys. So go subscribe to his shit. Go run his shit up. Very passionate guy. Very entertaining when it comes to the sport of boxing. I do tune in from time to time, even though I don't comment. I do tune in every now and then to BFTB Boxing. And there are some things that, I don't disagree with everything with these LDBC channels. I do watch LDBC channels sometimes. I just be in the cut. I don't say nothing, but I be watching just so I know what everybody's thinking, not just me and people that I like to watch, but, people who have different opinions than me. I like to know what they think so that I can fully grasp the narratives of the fight going in, and it gives me a better chance to get better perspective on the fight, So no hate here. Go subscribe to him, and listen. If you ever want to, I'm not gonna go there again because I couldn't speak my piece the way I wanted to. So if you ever wants to come here, my door is always open. But if not, it's all good. God bless. And Kavaliauskas is better than Green Beans. Crawford way better than Spence, and it's not even close. And God bless everyone. And we will continue this series later on. So look out for more Crawford Spence aftermath videos because I got receipts for half a decade long, and they range as far back as 2018. So it's gonna be a lot of people that lot of videos that resurface, I should say. So yeah, leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the Untouchable True School Sports Empire. We're here at the Hatanaka Boxing Gym in Nagoya, Japan. And for more great videos just like this one, make sure you guys click right here.